another live entertainment roundup. I'm J77. I'm doing this through audio only. Originally, I had planned it just the usual 3 to 5 stories that I have with the entertainment roundup. I had no intention to actually do a live feed. I was actually just going to just do the recording and post it on a Wednesday, but unfortunately, there was some tragic news that happened within the last 15 to 18 hours, which pretty much changed that plan. I'm still going to post a recorded version of Entertainment Roundup, but it will be a two-parter just to talk about the tragedy that happened in Hollywood. As you guys already know by now, Ryan Williams, a comedian actor, a guy who was on television this past season, passed away from apparent suicide at the age of 63. This is a shock not only towards his fans but towards everyone who have worked it with him in Hollywood. This has goes all the way back to the White House about what has happened and how he had passed away. This is something that people are still coming to grips on this tragedy, on a man who they considered nothing but high praise. um, it's just it's just something that I can't even put into words. And just for the record, normally when I do entertainment roundup, I do read articles and then give my absolute opinion. I'm not going to do that here. Do I will post a link to any specific article, mostly the Huffington Post, if only requested by those who are watching this video, whether it's through this live feed or towards the actual recording when it's going to be posted later on YouTube. But to me, this is just something that's coming completely from the heart. Something that I think people want to hear me say in general, not something that's been posted already on the Daily News or Huffington Post or Yahoo. Um, Basically, this stunned me because I woke up at pretty much 4 in the morning. I didn't left my house until 5:30. Head to work. I was just walking down a very empty street. Saw the usual lady walking a dog. We said hello to each other. Went to pick up my morning cup of Joe, and I saw Ryan Woman's face from the corner of my eye, but I didn't was paying much attention to it. I didn't want to read any newspapers. I didn't want to hear anything bad news about it. And frankly, if Ryan was on the front page, I didn't really think of much of it. I just thought he was doing something special, something new. It didn't dawn on me that he passed away. It wasn't until I got into Manhattan and actually got off the train, and the first thing I saw was the free newspapers, the AM and the Metro, and I saw Volume Women's Dead at 63, and I just stood there and said, "What happened? What went on? Did he die of a heart attack or something?" And apparently, he died from a suicide, and it was just something that just it took me a while to sink in that this could actually happen. Now, he has been battling with depression for years. He has been battling with alcoholism for years. He actually been 20 years sober, and then he actually relapsed, which compelled him to go back into to rehab, basically to deal with his problems. So he has dealt with a lot of personal demons, but I never thought it was gotten to that point where he actually would take his own life. Now, granted, we still don't know the official cause of death yet, but this is what everybody has been pretty much been saying. Even the coroner, before he even did an autopsy, have been saying this is pretty much what apparently has happened. So we won't know the official cause of death until probably a few more weeks down the road. But the fact of the matter is that Hollywood has lost. The world even have lost an icon is something that I just simply it's it's a shocker to me. It's an absolute shocker. I just it took me a while to realize what has happened because you know when you're in this night when you follow a famous star you really can't really grasp what's going on. Um, and it's just that again, when there are certain stars that you follow, there's certain stars that you even don't follow, that you kind of expect them to just to happen because they go on this very strong self-destructive path that you could only see bad things happen. You can't really say it's wrong with him, even with all the personal demons he has been through. You really can't just phantom that he would do something like this. Which tells you how much pain he has been going through, how much of a personal struggle within himself that he has gone through, and it's a grim reminder uh, that depression, and this is what it definitely is, depression. Is not no one's immune from it, not the rich, not the poor. It's just it's mind-boggling to me how that happened. And yet, as I'm speaking here, I am pretty much forced to talk about something else relating to this that drove me angry as I was doing my job and I was listening to the 1010 Wins. I was listening to WFEN. And what a great job that Mark Malusis and Sid Rosenberg done, because that's what the first thing they talked about. And they did such a great job of bringing this topic up, talking about the great career that Ryan Williams had and the personal demons that he has gone through. And yet, you have a bunch of callers. I won't say bunch too. It's just, it's just, it's mind-boggling how some people still feels that this depression is something you can simply turn off. That it's a selfish act. Depression is. There were two callers. One saying that how can you feel sorry for this guy? He committed suicide. It was a selfish act. How could he actually do this? He had all the money in the world. And to another person who was actually getting on Sid, who by the way had went through his own personal demons in his life in New York. He basically bounced back from it, still bouncing back from it, but still is self-aware of the challenges that he's gone through. Basically saying, how can you feel sorry for Ryan Williams? When I heard those two calls, I just couldn't believe it. I flung my hands up in the air, and a lot of people looked at me saying, "What?" Because I'm a ticket agent, I work outside the streets. Um, People just looked at me like, what's wrong? What's going on?" And they really, if they only hear the garbage that was coming out of these two callers, they will pretty much understand. It said, who rightfully so was very angry, very upset, basically cut them off and basically called them morons because they wasn't educated on how depression, or what depression, or many different forms of depression really is, and how people struggle with this on a day-to-day basis, trying to get by day to day. And the thing that's always related, even to some of my bosses, but I was kind of stunned of how some heartless some of these guys are, was even saying how this guy was rich, he had everything in the world. What did he got to be depressed about? It's not about being rich. It's not about having everything in the world and you should be happy because you got everything in the world. Depression is more complex than what people think. Here's the reality. Just because someone is rich, just because you see them on the big screen, just because you see they're making us laugh, doesn't mean they have personal demons they're going through with themselves. And a lot of times, they can be staring you in the face, laughing and cheering and smiling, but inside they could be crying. We don't know. We know about some of the demons and some of the personal things that Ron went through that was reported by the news, by celebrity media. We don't know the other stuff that was going on inside him, the personal war that was going on inside him. We just don't know, and we'll probably never know. The idea that he should be happy because he's rich. I'm sorry, this doesn't work that way. And people need to stop thinking that way. Celebrities are human beings just like the rest of us, and they deal with personal problems just like a lot of us do. Some more differently than others, some more complex than others. So the idea that he should be happy is an arrogant statement on one of those two callers' part, and just basically just arrogance that they don't truly know how deep depression really is. It's more to it than just a turn off and off switch. It really is. Um, and I go on and say this again, and I can't repeat this. I said this before when Juwario had passed away. I said this before. Even when a lot of these stars to go on a crazy little stunt, Just because you see them on TV, just because you watch their movies and go follow them on Twitter and you watch their music videos, doesn't mean you know them. You don't know them. You don't know what goes on behind the scene. What we see as fans and as moviegoers and as people who will follow these new careers is a delusion. A delusion made by the actors and actors and musicians that we see on TV on the big screen. When we see them in interviews, just because they're smiling and having fun and talking to the interviewer doesn't mean that they are actually really happy. It just means that they're putting on a show to show everything is good or promoting a film. That's it. That's all you have. And I think that people need to really, especially in this situation, need to stop and think. Putting and really stop putting a lot of these stars into a high pedestal that they cannot do any wrong, that they're untouchable, that they're immune for the problems that we ourselves deal with on a daily basis. That is simply not the case, and this is something. It is this is a this is it really says a lot about how we hold a lot of these stores up in terms of about preventability, reputations, and I think is not right, especially when it comes to something like this. Um, we don't know why why he went through his life. We don't know and never know. But I'm pretty sure it was a lot of emotion that was going on to him, a lot of sadness that made him feel that he was not worthy of being with his family. He felt he was better off if he was out of the picture. And it's just sad. I really feel sad that this actually happened. I really did. Um, but to say anyone to say that what he did was selfish, to say that what he have say that because he had money he shouldn't feel this way, it's just pretty much arrogant. It's just stupid. And I know a lot of people who make YouTube videos and will pretty much go on audio who feel differently is going to say this kind of stuff and basically put all the blame on on the person who committed suicide without thinking will pretty much post it up and will get their hits. But the point is, I'm just going to say this before you do, please be educated about this stuff. Please know that there's more to depression than what your own mind may think of. Depression hits everyone, can hit anyone, young or old, rich or poor. There is no boundaries between that. And some people deal with depression differently than others. Some people don't know how to deal with depression. Those are the ones that I'm very, very worrisome because, again, on the outside, they may seem okay, they may seem fine. On the inside, it's a whole different story. And in terms of Ryan Williams, it must have been a very, very tough battle. Again, a lot of people from the last reports I've heard had gathered in the San Francisco Bay home and basically have given, put flowers on his doorstep, give their condolences. I know Corey O'Brien had done a special tribute before signing off. Bill Cosby had mentioned some stuff. Steve Martin, a lot of legendary comedians have mentioned their shock and disbelief. President Obama had mentioned a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. People are reminiscing of some of the great shows that he have done on the Mork and Mindy show, which launched his career from from some of his films like Mrs. Doubtfire, Hook, um, Dead Poet Society, Goodwill Hunting. A lot of films he have done from the 80s, even in the 90s. His career is legendary. Even the films that has yet to be released. Night of Museum 3, which is set to be released, I think, later on this Christmas, to the Mrs. Doubtfire 2, which will now pretty much. I don't see how they can make the film now without him. It's just not possible. So his career, even his TV show, which actually had a good first season run. He leaves a mark that cannot be denied. He is a legend in the field, and he made us laugh through his own pains. He made us laugh, and he's definitely going to be missed. He's definitely going to be missed. Hollywood wants a great artist. They wants a great person of his craft, and My hearts and prayers goes out to him, his wife, and those who are affected around him. I'm affected. I really. It took me a while to actually do this. To do this because I didn't know how I was going to present this. It is that deep, and again, it's if anything that I can get out of this is to show that the depression of any form is very serious, and people need to be further educated, need to get the education, get the resource they need to understand it, and hopefully combat it before it gets worse. Some people can ask for help. Some people can can scream for help, and they can get the help they need. Others just don't know how to do it. And to me, the more education we can have on the situation, the better off. Especially when those who make stupid comments like they did on WFAN comes out and just basically just pretty much blame the victim, making him seem like a person who is something that he's not. Again, we don't know what was going on to him. We don't know the personal battles he's gone through, and to actually say that he's selfish or he's rich, he should not think about this. He have all the money in the world. To me, you don't understand. You just simply don't understand. You probably never will understand. There's more to it than that. I'm gonna cut off at this point right here, guys. Again, if you guys ask for a link, I will put a link to some of the articles. Again, my favorite movie from him. I liked it most of his stand-up comedy. I know it was a little bit out there at times, but my favorite movies pretty much goes back to the late '80s, early '90s. I loved him in Aladdin. I liked it, Mr. Doubtfire. Good Morning Vietnam was one of my favorite movies. Um, there's a whole lot of list of films that I actually like. I even liked the film that I think nobody actually saw was Bicentennial Man. I thought that was one of his better performances. So there's a whole list of films I can actually go on to. I may consider because I actually finished the season finale of the flashback review. I may actually extend it to do a special tribute to Brian Williams. That may be on the works. But for me, I'm going to remember the great things he have done. He left a lot of things to smile about. Especially during his Mork and Mindy days, and to me, that's something I'm gonna hold on to because those were great times that I actually um, truly truly mine. I thank him for making me laugh throughout my young years. So again, guys, your opinion is always welcome. I would ask if you don't agree with me or have your own spin on what I said, please understand one thing. Depression is not something you just can turn on and off. I understand if you didn't understand. I respect if you don't understand it. But I ask you to be further educated. I ask you to actually look deeper into the situation and not just think it's a selfish act that someone can easily just snap out of. It's not that simple. And with that, I'll leave you with this. J77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.